Hello, hello, OGs. I'm going to be doing another basic star today. Really quick, up front, like I usually do for these live streams. I just want to let you know that this is not going to be a full step-by-step tutorial. This is just a pin along, a pin and chat, pin and yap, as I like to say. But if you are interested in making this, I do have a link right below in the description to the full step-by-step tutorial. We've even got printables for you, like a printable supply list. We have templates, all the things that you may need in order to be successful at making these. As usual, I forgot to silence my phone, so 1 second. Hi, Phil. Good to see you today. Mad Princess, that's Kelly, right? Am I remembering your screen name correctly? Hello, friends. Mad Princess says, I didn't get the notification I missed yesterday. Yep, it's Kelly. Hi, Kelly. CJ said, good afternoon. Nancy said, hi, glad to see you again. I'm glad to see you too. Thanks for being here. Creative Minds is back. Hey, Creative Minds. Catherine said, hello, everyone. I came in a little late. What are we making today? You are not late. I have been on for like 30 seconds. You're just in time. Needleworker said, hi, Stacy. Sorry I missed yesterday. I caught up last night. Awesome. I'm glad you're here today. Hi, Robin. All right, guys. So what I'm doing today is a basic star. We did a 4-layer yesterday. Today I'm going to go back to doing a 3-layer, and I've got some scraps that Tammy down in my shop dug out for me. We're seeing an opportunity to clean out our scrap stash. So she gave me a little bin full of scraps, and look how awesome she is. She even put the count on there so I would be able to see how many we had. So this is plenty for a 3-layer basic star. I will need for the middle layer, or for the first layer, which is the middle of the star, I would need 8. And then for the 2 outer layers, I would need 16 each. So we have plenty of all 3 for any way we decide to layer this. And I even have a little scrap bag of some ribbons. So this is like, doing these lives is the perfect way for us to use up our scraps and leftovers and little bits and pieces that we've got down there in the shop. So it's like a little extra benefit to doing this. Florence said, so glad to see everyone and looking forward to this pattern. Thanks, Florence. I'm glad you're here. And Florence, or another Florence. We have 2 Florences. All right. Glad I caught you on time today. Yes. Kelly said she made you a little scrap kit. Exactly. She actually made me a few. And I picked this one for today because it's got a fall theme. And I figure this is going to be one of my last chances to kind of do the fall thing. After basically this week will be like full force Christmas. So hi, Robin. Robin, good to see you. You know what, Robin? I'm so glad you're here because let's see here. I have our Christmas club kit this month, you guys. This is it. I just want to show this really quick. This is the back. And this is the front, this absolutely adorable little Santa themed ornament. It's based on our Celestial Cross pattern. But Robin, it was actually inspired by Robin, who is one of our members, Robin Arnold. So I'm glad I got to like give you a shout out on this live, Robin. She had posted this in the Facebook group after we originally introduced this pattern and made this variation, and we loved it so much that we reached out and asked if she would mind if we made it into a kit. So here it is. Isn't that just the most adorable thing? Yes. Robin said both Robins are here. Yep, Robin with an I and Robin with a Y. Let's see. Vonda said, can you tell me the size of the squares? For the one I'm doing today, they're 2 inches by 3 inches. Hi, Carmen. Carmen said, good morning. Needleworkers, I love the sunflower print, my favorite flower. Robin with a Y said, yes. Yep. We got all the Robins. Nancy said, hello, everyone. Carmen said, I love it. Creative Mind said, OMG, that's adorable. Robin said that is just the sweetest thing. Hey, Sally. Sally said, hi, everyone. Yay, I made it on time. Happy Thanksgiving. To you too, Sally. Carmen said, beautiful. CJ, goodness. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to make that one. Kelly said, so cute. Nita Worker said, great job, Robin. Florence, love the Santa. And Phil said, that is so cute. I know, it is just so cute. We just loved it so much. Robin said, thank you so much. I can't wait to see whatever everyone does with this. So excited. Robin, it was such a cute idea. So creative. And you know what? We just put this up, you know, publicly, I guess, a couple of days ago or so. I can't remember exactly when Sarah posted it in the Facebook group, but it seems like people are just going crazy over it. So we're excited. All right, you guys. That's enough yapping for a minute. Let me figure out what I'm going to do here. I didn't really plan this yet. Like I said, Tammy kind of put together a little scrap bin for me. But what I'm kind of thinking off the bat here is, I think since this is my print, I'll use this in my middle layer. And you know what? She gave me this as the band, so I guess I'll use this as my outer layer. We'll just make it easy and use that as the outer layer, and then this can be the center star. So we'll do it like that. That's probably what her plan was too, since she gave me that band in green. So we'll stick with what I suspect was her plan, and we'll go from there. I feel like no matter what we do, it's going to be pretty because these are really pretty fabrics. Nancy said, so pretty. Robin said, thank you so much, everyone. Hope everyone gives it a try and add their own flair. Yes, thank you to the designer as well. Darlene, I think. I do believe it was Darlene, yes, that did the original Celestial Cross pattern. But, you know, it just goes to show all the different ways that you can make the patterns look. I mean, I'm always amazed by how different each pattern can look and what all of our club members do with each pattern, and just really change it up and add their own you know, add their own kind of style or just whatever idea. The Santa idea is just the cutest. Hi, Patty. So since some of these are scraps, some of them are a little wrinkly, but that's okay. We're going to work around it. I feel like after today, we'll probably go all out on Christmas for a bit. Robin, you are so welcome. Thank you. Thanks for letting us do the kit with that design. Muy buena tarde. Mabel said, Patty, did you mark this ball or is it a pre-marked ball? It's pre-marked, Patty. So it's already divided into the 8 segments. But you could divide your own ball if you don't have these pre-marked ones. These we do get custom made. But if you just have like any ball, and it doesn't even have to be 3 inches exactly, we do have a template that you can use to mark your own if you have a 3-inch size ball. But we also have a video here on the channel that will show you how you can make your own template, and it's really easy to mark your own ball. But the pre-marked ones are extremely convenient. I will say that. Is that good afternoon? Is that what that means? Buenas tardes? Patty said I ordered the 3 black marking straps. Oh, good. Okay, so that is for a 3-inch ball too. You're talking about the measuring tapes, and that you can use to do your lines as well. Kelly said yes. Awesome. Thank you, Kelly. Patty said, waiting for my order. All right, layer 1, we'll switch over to the sunflower print. The dogs are barking. They're getting in there, barking a little early today. I'm getting low on pins here in my bowl, but I just went and got a new box out, so I will have to refill that here in a second. Rhonda said, good afternoon, everyone. Hi, Rhonda. So I've gotten spoiled by using these pre-marked balls, but what I should do here in the next, maybe in the next couple of live streams at some point, I will show marking the ball myself for those of you guys who don't have the pre-lined balls, or if you have the measuring tape, like Patty was saying, and also, of course, we have that printable template. So I'll show that too, just for those of you guys who haven't done that before. It's pretty simple. That's a pretty piece right there. I like that gold floral area showing. CJ said, happy Thanksgiving week to everyone. Love this time of year. Me too. This is my favorite. I pretty much love everything from like October through the new year. Needleworker said, got my pins yesterday. Gonna cut my fabric and gather ribbons so that after Thanksgiving dinner, it's crafting and football for the rest of the evening. That sounds absolutely amazing. When you're nice and filled up from turkey and dessert, and then just plopping on the couch and just chilling out and making some stuff. Clovino said, hi there, 1 month till Christmas. Can you believe it? I feel like this year, I think I said this yesterday, this year went so fast, it's crazy. But I am very excited that Christmas is upon us. Hi, Louise. Oh, hey, Brenda, I missed a few. Chat's moving. Kelly said, I'm right there with you, needleworker. Good for you, Kelly. That'll be fun. Brenda said, hi, Stacy and everyone. It's a good afternoon for some quiet time pinning. Yes, it is. Although I'm not that quiet, am I? We keep talking about that in the shop. I'm not as quiet as I thought I would be. And then there's the comment I saw, Louise. Hey, Louise. Atlas said, hello all. I was watching an earlier peaceful pinning that I had missed and I didn't see that you went live. So glad I caught you. I'm so glad you caught us too. Welcome. Tony said, are you just eyeballing that distance? I have to measure carefully or they don't come out even. I am eyeballing, but measuring is a good idea. So don't feel bad about measuring. And it's only because I've made so many that it kind of just comes naturally. I feel like I could do these in my sleep, but I've made many, many, many of these. And I can't eyeball all the patterns, believe me. It's like a lot of these like basic patterns, like this basic star and the snow globe and stuff like that. Those are the ones that I can eyeball pretty good. And you know what? Even with the eyeballing, and even when I think I'm doing okay, sometimes it still comes out wonky. Needleworker said, at Mad Princess Creations, Kelly, great minds think alike. Honestly, that sounds so relaxing. After all the work is done of dinner, and then just chilling out. I don't like that one. See, this one's just not coming out good for me. Catherine said, I just made a cinnamon stick star. It's a little wonky, but it makes my work desk area smell a little Christmassy. I love that smell. One of the things that I loved about going into Joann at Christmas time was the cinnamon scented like broomstick things that they had there. My daughter would always be like, it's too strong, but I loved it. Probably a nostalgia thing, but I love that smell. Brenda said, you are quiet-ish. I need to put the volume higher to hear you. Okay. So maybe that's good. Quiet-ish. We originally thought it wouldn't be any talking at all. But, you know, honestly, I guess I just wasn't expecting people to chat with me. And I love it. So, of course, I want to chat back. Oh, I'm almost out of pins. Lisa said, hello, everyone. I am running late today. That's okay. You're not that late. Patty said, me too. And the bag of cinnamon pine cones too. Yes. It's just very festive. Feels Christmassy. And Kelly said, I love that smell also. I smelled it in Michael's, but couldn't find where it was coming from. Didn't see any brooms anywhere. They need to get on the ball. Especially if they're going to be trying to, like, you know, fill in some of that Joann's stuff for us. I love a new box of pins, guys. Lots of future ornaments here. Carmen said, I love that you chat with us. I'm so glad to hear that. We still want to do like some sort of videos that maybe are just, maybe not live videos, but recorded videos with some just music behind, you know, just making some ornaments. And that'll be peaceful too, but I am enjoying the chat. All right, we're stocked up for a bit. Nancy said, this time of year, everything smells good. There's lots of good smells this time of year, that's for sure. Okay, so we'll go ahead and switch now to green. You know, I was kind of like making this as though I was doing 4 layers, and I made my center star probably a little smaller than I should have. That's okay though. I'll just space out this last layer a little bit more. And actually, I think that's fine because this is the layer that I want to show more of anyway. So I'll bring it down just a bit more than I normally would. Patty said, wow, that's a huge box of pins. Amazon or your shop? Neither, Patty. Actually, the link is below in the description. I think it's the last thing in the list of links that I put down below. I can't remember the name of the site now, but that's where we get our pins. And they come in these 1-pound boxes, and it's the best deal that we can find on pins. And you get lots. How many's in there? Probably, I think it's like, I used to know this. I want to say 7,500 to or more pins in a box. So you get a lot, and it'll last you a good long time. CJ said, rather the chat. Music makes me want to take a nap. That's true. Me too. It would be relaxing though. Catherine said, I love your pin bowl. If I was sitting with you, I might be tempted to liberate it. You know what? I have a few of these bowls because it's, pink depression glass. And this bowl is actually one of the more common pieces in this Miss America. This is the Miss America pattern. And I find these all the time. I mean, probably more often than any of the other Miss America pieces. Thrift stores and flea markets and stuff like that. If you're ever looking. I have some other pieces of pink depression glass that are not Miss America, but this is the collection that I really, really search for. It's my favorite. Nancy said Wawak, which actually I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. That's the place that we get them. And yeah, the link is below. Kelly said the pins in the 1 pound box are wonderful. I've made a lot of ornaments and haven't used a full box yet. That's great. Yeah, they last forever. When I first was doing, well, I don't want to say when I was first making ornaments, but like when I first got married, I was really young, and we didn't exactly have a big budget for like crafting. I remember at that time I was buying those boxes at like Walmart that are like 200 in a box, I guess, which is barely enough for one ornament depending on what you're doing. And I can't remember what the cost was at the time, but it was just not good. The pins were like the most expensive part of the ornament. Back then, there was no internet, or at least it was brand new maybe. So I did not have access to this big old box of pins. I sure wish I would have though. Oh, Patty gets the catalog from that place. I don't get the catalog. I need to sign up for that. Yeah, and we've like hunted. I mean, we constantly hunt for better prices and stuff on things, but that has been the one that's been really, really consistent. They have the best price. Nancy said, I love your pin bowl too. Thank you. Louise said, just finishing up the elegant holly as we speak. Did the pinning of yesterday's ornament last night. Awesome. We'll post later. I can't wait to see it. The elegant holly, you guys, is the one that we did at the end of last week. It was a kit that we had. In fact, we might still have some. I don't know if we do. Was it last week? It was 2 weeks ago, I believe. Catherine said, see, we are finding more about you. Yeah. From the chatting, yeah. From my yapping. Robin said, love the contrast. I like it too. I think this is cute. I think this is cute. And just from scraps, which you gotta love that. Pat said, I love that fall fabric. Where do you find all your pretty materials? I was watching the Candy Star ornament, and where did you find the sparkle material? Is that the one from, I don't know if I know which one you're talking about, the Candy Star. Was that one of the ribbon ones that I did? So we get, in general, we buy wholesale. We buy fabric wholesale because we have our shop and our club and stuff where we send out all the kits. So we buy from like Moda, Timeless Treasures, Hoffman, Maywood Studio, and some others. I would say that the ones that we buy from the most are probably Moda, Timeless Treasures. Oh, Henry Glass is a big one for us. And Hoffman. This fall fabric, I believe, is Moda. And so is the green, actually. The green is a grunge. Glitter or metallic grunge, I believe. Is it? I think so. It all starts to run together sometimes, guys. And I think that this is a Timeless Treasure from like a long time ago. Patty said, I'm a sewer at Quilter and they have lots of sewing accessories too. Okay, I'm going to have to sign up for their catalog. Needleworker said, just had to clean out and sail my mother's house. That's one thing we definitely held on to, things that were from my great-grandmother era. Yeah. That stuff is rare and hard to find. Okay, I was about to just go for a 4th layer out of habit, but I think I like it with just like this. And we said 3 layers, so I'll stop there and I'll switch over and start side 2. Robin said, love the colors on this ornament. Thanks, Robin. Nancy said, love the 2nd layer fabric. I'm partial to the fall colors. Yeah, me too. This is a really pretty one. We just recently had this in a bundle too, which I'm not sure if we still have. Let me look really quick. In fact, I think we had these 2 together in a bundle. Let me check. I'm not seeing it. That one must have sold out. Yeah, that one must be gone. It's from a few years ago, but we had put it in a bundle to just kind of get rid of the rest of it. And this is scraps left over. Patty said Fat Quarter Shop has beautiful fabric from all of those designers. Yes, they sure do. Those are all like the kind of like the premium quilt shop type of fabrics. Okay, I want to make sure I do this so it lines up with side 1. There was a while where I was almost exclusively buying from Moda and Timeless Treasures because they were actually the first fabric companies that I dealt with wholesale. They were open to like coming out and visiting me, even though I was a home-based business at the time. So I'm really partial to those. I have like a special place in my heart for Moda and Timeless Treasures. Even though Moda has been disappointing me lately with their lack of metallics and glitter fabrics. But I'm hopeful that they will bring them back. Joyce said there are about 5,000 pins in the 1 pound box. Okay, awesome. I think I was overestimating. I think I said 7,500. Louise said, was it Fresh as a Daisy bundle? I think it was. I think it was. You know what? Hold on. It might not be. There's a Fresh as a Daisy fabric that's really similar. Let me look. And I think we actually do have that bundle. Yeah, this is not the Fresh as a Daisy bundle, I do not believe. Because I think Fresh as a Daisy was a similar flower. It was daisies, but it didn't have the metallic. You know what? If you guys give me 1 second, I can find out what this one was called. One second. Hey guys, do you remember the name of the fall metallic floral fabric? I speak text, you guys. Tammy, it's the one that you gave me for a live. Okay, I will give you guys the answer to that in just a second as soon as I get it. Needleworker said, what was the name of the catalog that you were referring to? The Wawak, W-A-W-A-K, and I am probably not saying that correctly. Patty said, oh, you know what? Patty said, did you have a chance to check out The Holiday Flourish by Robert Kaufman? Beautiful metallic fabrics. They are beautiful. And what's funny is that one of the girls in the shop watched that live, and so she sent me a link to it. And yeah, you're right. They're beautiful. Hoffman never disappoints with the metallics. They always bring the metallic, even when the other companies are like pulling back on the metallics. I said Hoffman. It's Robert Kaufman, correct? Hoffman is really good with metallics though, but I think Robert Kaufman is too, right? Robin said love Robert Kaufman and Northcott. You know, Northcott's one that we haven't really bought from a lot. That's one that we need to look into more. We've bought some here and there, but not a whole ton. Well, no point on that one. Patty said, oh yay, I was looking for the link for you, but glad they sent it. Thank you though. Thanks for looking. Olivia and Tammy down in the shop, they kind of like are always on the hunt for fabrics because they help to put together our kit production. So all the things that we're doing to get the kits ready every single month, the supplies, all that stuff. So they're really super into looking at fabrics, and we love finding new fabrics that we didn't know about. You are very welcome, needleworker. I actually didn't know they had a catalog until this conversation, so I need to look into that. Patty said, my fabric stash as a quilter is over the top. I totally feel your pain. Marilyn said, hi, I'm late. Where can you buy the Robert Kaufman fabrics? Your best bet's probably going to be looking online, but that would be in like quilt shops. If you're looking for something local, like your local quilt shop. And somebody had just said above a little earlier, the Fat Quarter shop is a good place for those premium quilting fabrics. So that might be a good place to start if you're looking online. Creative Minds said, I really enjoy poppy cotton fabrics along with some of the others. I don't think I know poppy cotton. I'll have to look that up. I feel like it sounds vaguely familiar though. But I don't think it's anything we've ordered. I'm not 100% sure about that. Creative Mind said, me too, Patty. I bet a lot of you guys have some serious fabric stashes. Missouri Star is part owner of Robert Kaufman, so they have a ton. I did not know that. Okay, well that's the place to go then. Patty said, yes, especially now at the quilt shops, Christmas fabric is out now. Marilyn said, okay, we have a wonderful quilt shop in Somerville. I will check them out. Good info. That's a pretty piece. I'm going a little off center with this because I want to just sort of show part of that flower. I haven't really been being too strategic with how I place these pieces, but sometimes you can just sort of adjust where you pin so that when you fold down you can show certain parts of the fabric. And I thought that was pretty with those little petals coming out. Vanda said, do your fingers still get sore? But not too bad. If I haven't made an ornament in a while and then I start again, then yeah, it kind of starts all over. But right now, since I've been doing this every day for a couple of weeks, they're pretty good. I got a nice little callus going, so it's not too bad. Now, if I was to like throw in an ornament with like a batik fabric or something, I'd probably get sore fingers. Creative Mind said, yeah, that whole Missouri Star and Robert Kaufman thing was a huge stir. Missouri Star then had a falling out with Moda and Riley Blake. I didn't know that. Was that recently? So does that mean Missouri Star does not have Moda or Riley Blake anymore on their website? Robin said, love Missouri Star. This star is just a little wonky, but I don't think it's too bad. Actually, it looks wonky in one direction, but when I turn it this way, it doesn't look so bad, so I'll have to try to make sure I aim for the top to be like up here so that the star doesn't look weird. So Creative Minds said they are selling what they have, but nothing new for about a year now. This happened last summer, fall. Wow. Gosh, that had to be pretty rough on like Moda and Riley Blake, because that Missouri Star is like one of the biggest fabric sites, right? So that's a huge loss of sales. Patty said, interesting, I didn't know that. My go-to shop when not buying local is Fat Quarter Shop. I should own stock in them. Yeah. Oh, if only we could go back to the beginning when all these big sites started popping up. Creative Minds said, Missouri Star Quilt Company is in Hamilton, Missouri. They have like a whole little town, right? That's what I've heard. It's like a whole little quilty, like almost like a tourist area is what I've heard. Tony said, I use a pencil with an eraser to push in the pins when my fingers get sore. That's a good idea. That's a great idea. Creative Mind said, yes, it has been rough for all involved. Wow, I'm going to have to like Google that. I had no idea. And then when you add into that, like in addition to that, just the fact that everyone's costs have skyrocketed, shipping costs have gone up so much. I mean, it's not an easy time for businesses to begin with. So I am going to have a wide area to cover here. So I better try to keep my pins kind of close together. So Patty said that Moda and Riley Blake are at Fat Quarter Shop, which is also pretty big, I think. So that's good. Creative Minds said it's called Quilt Town, USA. I live about 3 hours away, so I get down there about twice a year. That is so cool. I would like to see that one day. Robin said, I have almost the whole village putting out today. Love that Quilt Town. You mean like a village to decorate with? Is that what you're talking about? I didn't even know that existed. I collect Christmas houses, so that's cool. CJ said, I have a pin pusher puller that I got off of Etsy. It's been a lifesaver for me. I've seen those, CJ, that people have shown in our Facebook group, and they look pretty cool. Nancy said, Missouri Star has retreats that I would love to attend, but probably would not be around back in my home for all. Oh, hang on a second. I would love to attend, but probably would not be around back in my home for all of the fabric that I would buy. Yeah. Yeah. It seems like a place that you could really spend too much money. Patty said, yes, the Fat Quarter Shop is a huge family business in Texas. Quilt Town, Robin. Now I have something else to go look up. I have a section right here in my office. I've got some built-in shelves, and I decided last year that I was going to make one big chunk of my shelves a year-round Christmas village, because it is a lot of work to take those things down and put them up every year. But I love them, but it can take like 2 days to set those things up. So I made a permanent spot, and on the bottom shelf I got all my Halloween houses, and then from the second shelf up, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 more shelves of Christmas houses. And I love having it up all the time. And it's kind of hidden, it's tucked away in one corner of my office, so it's not out in my house, all year. People might think that's weird. But I like having it in here where it's tucked away. Creative Mind said, yes, love Fat Quarter Shop. They are mad about the Robert Kaufman thing, so they said they won't buy from them anymore. Oh, wow. It's like a whole drama going on with the fabric companies. Who knew? Robin said, go check them out and put in a good word for me. I will. Maybe they'll send you some freebies, like an affiliate house. Phil said, I do machine embroidery and I'm working on a complete village with every piece made entirely out of thread. It's called freestanding lace. Whoa. I didn't even know that existed. Ugh, that's crazy. It also sounds like a ton of work. So how long, what have you gotten done so far, and how long does it take to do that? Nancy said, I love snowman, so they're out year round. Well, there you go. You got to do what you love, right? Quilt shop drama. Yep, Kelly. That's what it sounds like. Kelly also said, I do embroidery also, Phil, and FSL is one of my favorites. This ornament went really quick, you guys. I'm already almost done the last layer. A couple more pieces to go. Tammy is here. Tammy said the fall fabric is the Moda Arboretum. How do you say that? Arboretum? I don't know how to say that. Metallic. She's got it in the chat, you guys. She even put the number. It's number 33531-11M. We used it in one of our club kits a while back. We used it in Splendor. right? I think we used it in the Splendor ornament. Kelly said, I collect nutcrackers and made a 6-foot tall guy, and he stays out all year. That's amazing. Freestanding lace is what FSL stands for. Okay, Patty said, actually, machine embroidery, FSL, freestanding lace, can go quickly. I do that too. Okay. It sounds like something that would take a really long time. CJ said, I am getting an embroidery sewing machine for Christmas. So excited. Congratulations. That is exciting. Phil said the machine does the hard work, but I have a quilt shop, a church, and a small bridge with a tree done. Okay. Time depends on the size of the design. That sounds so neat. Kelly said, CJ, you will love it. I have the I don't know how to say that word, sorry, Topaz 50, and it's a workhorse. Okay, Tammy had also tried to message me that answer that I didn't answer, and that's why she came back on the live and put it in the chat. The green fabric is Moda Grunge Zesty Apple. It's number 30150-496M. I believe that the Moda Grunge is still available. The cream, however, is discontinued. It was Timeless Treasures Pearl Cream. We think it's discontinued. We're not 100% sure about that. Okay. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that fall one, the Moda here in the middle, it's just above in the chat if you want the number for that. It has a really similar print to the Fresh as a Daisy. Like similar in just like the, I don't know, the way that the flowers are kind of laid out. But that one is not metallic, and of course it's more in like the spring colors and stuff, and this one is more of the fall. CJ said, I am so excited. I'm a newbie at it, but I'll be making some centerpieces for ornaments. To name one of the things I want to do, mine is the Brother SE2000. That's really exciting, CJ. I had a small, like very beginner embroidery machine a while ago, years ago. I mean, it was like a super beginner one. I bought it at Walmart and it finally kicked the bucket. And that's what I did with it. I never really got good at it, but I got good enough to make centerpieces for the middle of ornaments. And I really did enjoy it. And so I would like to maybe one day get back into that and get another one, maybe a little bit nicer of a machine. And try that again. Patty said the Wish Fairy Frost fabric was still being made, but alas, the collections come and go. Yeah, they do. It makes it hard. You find something you really like and then suddenly you can't get it anymore. The way they do the collections, a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them, it makes it really hard because they will like put it out for pre-order, and it'll be like 8 to 12 months in advance of when it's actually getting manufactured and sent out to the retail shops, quilt shops and things like that. So for us, like to plan out a kit and get enough fabric to do a whole kit with, we have to order in advance before we can actually have our hands on it, you know, and we can actually use it and try our ideas out and stuff like that. And I know I've told you guys a little bit about that before, but that's what makes it difficult. So we'll basically be like ordering and like just kind of hoping. Like we think it looks pretty on paper, but we hope it'll work for a pattern. And we get it and then we can experiment. Because if we wait until it comes out and we buy it like retail somewhere and try it out and we love it, the chances are very unlikely that we're going to be able to get, 200, 250 yards of it by then. Needleworker said at Mad Princess Creations, I kept my mom's, there's that word again, Husqvarna? How do you say that, guys? Not that you'll be able to tell me. Designer 1 embroidery machine bought in 2000, and it still keeps on going. Tony said it is putting it together after your machine embroider. It is putting it together after your machine embroiders it that takes the time and patience. That makes sense. Yep. Creative Mind said, I've always loved Brother machines. I purchased a baby lock last year. They are made by Brother. That was what I had. I had a Brother that I had gotten from Walmart, but it was a little cheapy, very beginner machine. But I liked it, and it lasted a good long while. I just never put the time into it that I wanted to. Robin said, Baby Lock Pathfinder. It's just embroidery, and then I have a Burnett B79, which is a combination machine. Patty said, gotta get the beautiful fabric when it's out or it's gone. That's my problem. All the beautiful fabric that I have in my stash. Yep. I think they know it. I mean, they're doing it that way for a reason. They know that you're going to be like, I might use that one day. I got to get it now while it's out because it won't be out anymore. And then, hence, there we are, buying it up. Don't want to miss out on it. Now I gotta re-find where my star was the least wonky. That looks pretty good. I kind of have a wider spot to cover on this one than I normally do, so I gotta be careful of that. Patty said it's a sickness for sure. Yes. CJ said there was a Joanne fabric that ran out one year. When I found it again, I bought about 6 yards for my ornaments. I am nutty like that. I know. Oh my gosh, I know. I had found this fabric once at Walmart of all places, but it was this really cute, like, it was satiny. It was really hard to work with. It was more of like a costume type of fabric, but they had a blue version and a pink version with these brightly colored polka dots all over it. And I bought a little tiny piece of it and I made an ornament. And this was back in the days, like my eBay days, when I was selling just ornaments, not patterns and kits and things like that. And so people loved it. They were like, it's perfect for like a birthday ornament. And I think in that one I even did embroidery. It's funny because we're talking about embroidery. I did like an embroidery in the middle with like the year. And I had all these people that were like, I want to have a custom one like that. So I went back out to like literally like 6 Walmarts trying to find that same stupid fabric. And what ended up happening was I ended up buying way too much. I did make some custom ornaments, but then I had so much left over that I still to this day have that in a basket that I don't use very much anymore. Like I haven't even touched it in a long time, but it was hard to use because of the way it was like satiny and stuff. I'm like, why did I do that? Why did I go out and buy all these yards? And not to mention like days of driving around to different Walmarts. So silly. But hey, if anybody ever wants a custom birthday ornament, I've got the fabric. All right, let's play with these ribbon scraps. Robin with a Y said, I would love to get an embroidery machine. Pepper Spot said, do you ever use the hidden pinning technique on the end of the band? Yes. Yep, we do. I don't do it when I know I'm going to be putting a bow on top because it's like just a little extra work to do that. The hidden pin trick, we call it. And if I know I'm putting a bow up there, there's really no reason to bother with it, but I can demonstrate that next time. I already cut my band, so it would be a little bit harder to do it now, but for ornaments that don't have a lot going on top, it's the perfect way to make sure you end the band with a finish instead of a raw edge. And the pins are hidden. We might even have a video for that on YouTube, but I'm not sure. Hi, Gretchen. I got a lot of choices here. Oh, that's a big chunk of gold right there, but it does feel like it's all separate pieces. So we will end up with, guys, like we sell ribbon by the yard in the Ornament Girl shop. And, you know, you get to the end of a big roll. We've got those big like 100-yard rolls and we sell by the yard. So we'll end up with like just under a yard left over that we can't sell. So that's probably what most of this is. Leftover bits and pieces. Oh my goodness, I have a lot of choices here. I think I'm going to do a bow with like, I'm going to make a big fluffy bow with all the colors. I like that sheer green. I like this. Tammy is really good at putting together ribbons to match the fabrics. How big are these? That's a little short. Let me see this one. That one is 7 inches, so I'm gonna put that in my bow too, but I don't need to cut a piece for that. So is this one. That one's 7, so I don't need to cut a piece off of this color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a lot of loops. So I'm gonna start with a bow that has 7-inch pieces to start. Oops. Pepper Spot said I use it on all my ornaments. It's a great way to finish things off and never have to worry about a pin showing, that's for sure. Patty said, my advice is to go to a sewing dealer to purchase an embroidery machine, not online. They will give you free new owner's lessons and service for your machine. When buying online, you're on your own. Thank you for that, Patty. Phil said sell ribbon mystery scrap bags with the extra pieces. That's a good idea. We've done it with fabric before. That's a good idea. Scrap bag. Vonda agrees. So does Julie. Hey, Julie. Julie said that's what I was thinking. They might not always be this matchy-matchy though, guys. Would that be okay if you were buying a ribbon scrap mystery bag? I'm gonna clean up the ends of this really quick. We do have lots and lots of extra bits and pieces down there for sure. Robin said, that's good advice, thanks. To Patty. CJ said, I think that's a good idea. Robin said, yes, the local quilt shop is excellent for service. You know, and it's good to go support your local quilt shop too. We don't want them going the way of Joanne, right? Patty said, I used to work for the H brand name Viking. I have a designer diamond and an epic too. Julie said, you never know what you get in a fabric scrap, so yes. Okay. Robin said, sounds like fun, and Phil said it would be okay. All right, that's awesome. I will take this idea to the shop. Tammy might even be watching still. She might even be seeing it right now. Nancy said, I never have the ribbon color to match my fabric. I know, it's a thing, right? I was telling you guys a week or two ago about how Tammy calls green particularly impossible green because there's so many shades of green, it seems like, and it has to be right, you know? It's nice to just have a pile of scraps to be able to pick through. Now, back in the day when we were only doing like the loop and pin and starting with one big long piece of ribbon, the scraps didn't work as good with that unless you just wanted to keep pinning on extra pieces. But with this gift bow style, like you can literally just put, how pretty is that? I just interrupted myself, but wow, that is pretty. But yeah, you can just piece together little bits and scraps and come up with a really pretty bow. Wow, Tammy, if you're watching, you did really good picking out this ribbon. How beautiful. All right, we're gonna do the same thing again with slightly smaller pieces. And I think I had, let me see, was it this one? I'm gonna do, nope, that's too short. I'm gonna do pieces that are 6.5 inches long now. Let's see if I have any short pieces in here. This one's just a little bit too long, so I will cut off a little bit of that. No more already super short pieces. That's the same one. Same one. We have this. I have so many colors here, I'm having a hard time keeping them all straight. Okay, we have the two darker golds. Now we have this metallic gold. Nancy said, right, yes. Kelly said, I like the multicolored bows. Me too. Patty said, beautiful ribbon. Marilyn said, love the bow. Robin said, so pretty. Nancy said, I love the gift bow style. The bows are always pretty and full. Yes, and it's kind of foolproof. It makes it so it's easy to keep your loops even. And I know I always say this, I never really worried about keeping the loops really even. I just eyeball it and it's fine. But I know that can be a thing. You know, it can be a thing to try to keep it all really even. The gift bow makes it easy to do that. Julie said, if I have smaller pieces, I just mix them in with my bow as spikes or just straight pieces like in the sparkler pattern. Yes. You know what? That is exactly what we did here on this December, the December kit. We've got these little pieces kind of sticking out. Makes it super festive. Just love it. And it's perfect on 4th of July ornaments too because it has like a fireworks effect. Nancy said, your ornament is gorgeous. Robin with a Y said, Julie, great idea. I can't wait to tell Tammy how pretty these colors turned out together. I'm gonna need to find my gold string as a hanger string for this one. It's very, very elegant, I think. This one would have looked good with the green in the center too, but I actually think I would prefer the white in the center because I feel like it's brightening it up a little bit in the middle there. But honestly, either color I think in the center would have looked really good. Needleworker said, another beautiful ornament. Everyone have a great rest of your day. Hopefully see you tomorrow. If not, everyone have a blessed day on Thanksgiving. Thank you, Needleworker, and you as well. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow, though. I'm planning to do one more tomorrow before the holiday. So pretty. That is so, so pretty. I'm just absolutely tickled about this. I'm gonna find some gold string really quick. Robin with a Y said, same to you. Yeah, that's nice. Pepper Spots said, I wish the notifications were working. I've been on YouTube for about 3 hours and I just happened to see this when one video was over. I know. I feel like everyone is saying that. It just seems to be a thing. Tony said, what time will you be on tomorrow? I don't know exactly, Tony. If I were to take a wild guess here, I would think about 2 to 3 o'clock, something like that. But I'm not 100% sure. Callie said, showstopper, beautiful fall colors. Thanks, Callie. Now I gotta figure out what I want to use as my like topper here. I've got I wish I had some just gold pearl tipped pins, but I do not, at least not accessible to me right now. I've got maybe this champagne color would be pretty, not quite as bold as I would prefer. Green might be nice too. I do have a little gold bead, which might work. It's just so tiny. I feel like I need something a little bit like with a pop. Let's see if this color is right. I've got 2 shades of green. I'm thinking maybe a green crystal would be pretty. The lighter green is the right match, but I also feel like I don't know if it's gonna be as much of a pop as I would like. Let's see. Oh, that is pretty nice. That's a really good match. I think I'm gonna go with that. Kelly said the darker green. So what do you guys think? The lighter green or the darker green? I will totally go with whichever one gets the most votes. Here, let me pull out the darker green. Nancy says darker. Robin with a Y said lighter. So here, I'll show you what the darker looks like up there. There's the darker. Definitely stands out more. So that's the darker. So far we have more votes for the darker. And then here's the lighter, which was what I was gonna pick. They both honestly match really well. So the darker definitely shows up more though. All right, we have lighter, darker, 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 lighter, darker. The lighter gets lost. Okay. It looks like there's a few lighters in here, but most of you guys are saying darker. Darker it is, you guys. Thank you. Oops, I put away my lighter ones and I left that one out. The emerald green. Marilyn said use both. Oh, Vonda said the same, use both. Nancy said, whatever you choose, it's beautiful. You know, I could put 2 beads on here, but also I'm using a regular pen, and I feel like since it's going through a lot of layers here, I better keep as much of this pin real estate as I can. Nancy said, whatever you choose, it's beautiful. Thank you, Nancy. I'm just in love with this bow. Let me grab some fabric to help push this down. Oh, Callie said put the lighter in the center of each side. That is an idea. I'll try it. Cute, 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 cute. Good idea, Kelly. Adorable, I love that. Let me find my, where did I set them? There they are. I have piles and piles of these little canisters sitting beside me, you guys, with all of my stuff in it. And when I'm looking at it from the side, I can't tell what's in it. So I set it on top of a pile and then didn't know which pile I'd set it on top of. Patty asked, what kind of hanger string is that? Source. It is Mayarts. It comes on huge rolls. I think we have this linked. If you take the Basic Star Workshop, we've got a download that comes with that with links to all of our favorite sources for things. That includes the pins that we were talking about earlier. And I believe this hanger string might be in that download as well. But mayarts.com is where you can find this. One roll, they've got, the only colors they have, I think, is silver, gold, and white. And one roll will last you 1,000,000 years. Maybe not 1,000,000 years, but it'll last a really long time. Straighten that out a little bit. How fun is that we just put that together through a bunch of scraps? Just the coolest. Those you guys that were talking about sewing and quilting and stuff, I know I say it all the time, but this is the perfect way to use your scraps and come up with something so cute and quick, easy way to use up your scraps, and very giftable, all of that fun stuff. You guys, I always forget, and people remind me, and I saw yesterday right after I ended the stream that a couple of you said, hit the thumbs up button if you like it. I always forget to say it, but if you enjoyed doing this with me, will you hit the thumbs up for me? Because it really helps us on YouTube get the word out about the Ornament Girl. So that'll be it. I'll be here tomorrow at some point. I think I was saying somewhere between like 1 and 3. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. CJ said already did. Thank you, CJ. I really appreciate it. But yeah, I hope to see you guys tomorrow. If you want the instructions to make this, if you've never made one before, I know some of you guys are brand new to this craft. Some of you guys have been around a long time in the Ornament Girls Club. But those of you who are brand new, the link to the full step-by-step tutorial with all of the instructions, the measurements, everything is in the description below. All right, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your afternoon and evening, and I will see you tomorrow, guys. Happy ornamenting. Thanks for watching.